we are trying here to assess the risk of these mass bleaching events. I mean, the Great Barrier Reef is the size of Italy, so it's absolutely enormous. And you're talking here about a mass bleaching event can have the footprint around 10 times bigger than the most extreme tropical cyclone. So it's absolutely enormous area, and it can have catastrophic impacts on the corals across very large areas. So that's why we're looking at this large scale. The threat that we could lose this place, at least in its current form, I hope is a wake-up call to governments around the world that we just need to do so much more, and we need to take that coordinated global action.
You see this kind of purple band, so that is a stress band, most likely formed during a thermal stress event. So this core was drilled in 2018, so it was probably in 2010, given the distance from the core top down to here. The corals are perfect ocean sensors. So we always compare them to instruments that you put in the water, you know, like these moorings or ocean moorings, or instruments that measure different physical parameters. But they are actually living sensors that, for us, sit in the ocean for hundreds of years and recording what has happened to them over many centuries during their lifetime. So we see, so that's the Ashmore core from northwestern Australia, right? And we drilled that because it's right in the center of these big ocean currents. And the good thing about this, but so far in this particular coral in that X-ray, I haven't seen stress bands on this particular part, you know, any indication. If the current trends continue and if humans don't change the way they live, we will definitely see more of those heat events, and we see them more often. What's happening now in the last 20-30 years is that these heat extremes are happening more often, and there's less time for corals to recover between events. So for instance, since 2016, 5 major bleaching events just also in the Great Barrier Reef, for instance, also affecting parts of the Coral Sea. So this is a trend that is very worrying. So we might move into a time, so in 25 years' time, we might see these heat wave events even on a higher frequency, maybe even every other year occurring. And then that means that the recovery time for the corals after these bleaching events is becoming shorter and shorter.